I made a video some time ago where I said that even if Carrick wins all his matches from then to the end of the season, I still wouldn't give him the Manchester United job. And I know a lot of people disagreed with me that time. But the thing is, looking at this Leeds game, there is something that bothered me about Carrick is the fact that he did not adapt, he did not adjust. Leeds adapted to Manchester United. If you've followed any Manchester United analysis before, we know how United likes to play on the attack. There is something that they would usually do where they sort of try to get players into position in an attempt to compress one part of the pitch. And you would have one of those fullbacks sort of just bombing forwards, staying out wide. When they're able to get the opposition to compress one part of the pitch, they then look to switch the ball out wide to that player. And then other people immediately attack the ball. They get 3 or 4 players to attack the balls and then cross the ball in. Something else that they tried to do in this game again, which, by the way, didn't really work, was to try to go into this 2-2-2 shape straight down the middle during build-up. Something like this. It's basically trying to stay very compact and stay very narrow in this center of the pitch, with the hopes that the opposition would also squeeze in between and then leave space out wide for the likes of Mazraoui or Shaw to run into to receive the ball so that they can get it into the box. And then they oftentimes would look to overload that backline with 4 players. But Leeds playing a back 5 effectively nullified anything that Carrick and Manchester United tried to do in this game. Oftentimes, Leeds, that 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 formation usually just became a back 5, which meant that there was no gap at all. They defended in this 5-4-1, which I think was quite excellent. Let me show you some examples in the game to see why United were largely ineffective. Just look at a few clips. To begin with, this is one of those rare instances where what United wanted to do actually worked, or what it would have looked like if it worked, when they're able to catch Leeds in bad moments in the game. On this occasion now, you can see that sort of 2-2-2 arrangement down the middle and then some players holding the width. Now, what United, if I take it a few frames down, what United wants to do basically is to get everybody into that middle. Now, take a look at Mazraoui. There is a player here who is going to prevent this ball from going out wide. Mazraoui carefully takes himself into the middle of the pitch. His own there is to just take the attention of this player away, to drive him infield a little bit, to leave that space out wide. And then, of course, it succeeds because the player follows him, which now leaves the gap for this ball to be played to Ahmad at the right-hand side, out wide with a lot of space. And then once this happens, you had at least 3 United players immediately attacking the balls, waiting for Ahmad to, do whatever he wants to do with the ball. But on this occasion, Ahmad decides to cut in and take a shot. Now, this is how it's supposed to happen. This is what United wants to do. But it did quite happen like this all the time. Let me show you an example of when this does not actually happen, which was for most of the game, by the way. This, unfortunately, is what we saw for most of the game. That there was this disciplined positioning from Leeds. Again, is that 6 players in the middle of the pitch, trying to put that compression in the middle of the pitch. But what you would notice now is that Leeds have 5 players spread all through that defense. That even when the ball comes out wide, Ahmad had somebody with him. It happened because of the back 5. They were able to sort of match United's energy, let me put it that way. They were able to commit players where they needed to commit players. Other times, where United wants to create an overload, they were more than happy to allow United to have the overload in those areas. They know what the end goal is. They know what United wants to do at the end of the day. Let me show you an example of that. This is one of those occasions where United actually wants to create an overload, wants to compress one part of the pitch. If you notice, there are lots of United players here. It's an overload. Leeds allowed United to have that overload out wide because they know what United wants to do at the end of the day. If I take it one frame further again, still look at it, it's the same overload here. But notice that Leeds are more concerned with actually having players protect the middle of the pitch. And now, let me just give you a quick example, because once they eventually switch this ball out wide, what you will notice is that Mazraoui has a man on him. Despite the compression, because Leeds were able to play a back 5, they could have players across and even afford to have a spare man on that person on the other side that United wants to give the ball to. Now, I don't want to go into United's pressing in this game because this video is going to be very long. I have made a video before where I specifically said that United's pressing has a problem. And Wolves, I didn't know if I was watching Tanaka today or I was watching Ruiz or I was watching Bernardo Silva. I don't know who, but Tanaka looked like a world-class player because of the way he was able to receive the ball from build-up, turn around, and just play out of United's press. I have said it before, that pressing is a problem. It's just not working. Tactic, he did it for a few matches, it worked. But if you look at the last 3 or 4 games, United have not actually been at their best. Even the ones they've won, they've either had a red card, they've scored from a corner, It's now starting to come to bear. I've said it before that for a team like Manchester United, you need big manager. You need somebody who is tactically adaptable. I was waiting all through the game yesterday for Carrick to actually change something, do something different, do something in the game. The changes Carrick made eventually were like for like changes. It wasn't meant to change the game tactically. Don't blame anything on the red card. United lost that game before the red card, even with 11 against 11 on the pitch. For what it's worth, United looked better after they were down to 10 men. 11 against 11, they were not going anywhere in that game. But that's just my opinion, though. I don't know how you feel about Carrick. Again, you know how I feel. We can have a conversation about your own thoughts.